Bit about me. I own the Mindful Yoga and Pilates. I'm also actually a certified health and wellness coach, but not everybody knows that about me. And we're getting ready to do some detoxes. So smoothies are actually a really great way to detox too and improve your digestion. One of the reasons why is because smoothies are actually really easy to digest. And sometimes I'm going to give you recipes that don't have things that tend to, cause reactions for people as far as, like dairy or wheat, things like that. Even nuts. If you're fine with nuts, you could decide maybe you want to put a nut butter in your smoothie. But for some of the things that when we're not metabolizing our food well, we might experience, issues with our weight or again, the food allergies. Sometimes people find, that food can affect their mood, the way their belly feels, which is not necessarily about weight, but just feeling bloated. For me, a lot is the energy that I can feel kind of like fatigued if I'm not keeping up well with my nutrients. And then also sometimes people find, that it affects their sex drive too. So that might be a reason to do a smoothie for you. But smoothies can put a lot of nutrients in very easily. So that's one of the great things about smoothies. Again, they're easy to digest. It can take a lot of energy to actually digest our food. So the smoothie actually helps to kind of, in a way, pre-digest it for you by breaking it all down. And then you're not using so much of your energy to try to digest some of the really healthy foods that we want. It can also be kind of hard to digest. For my snack, maybe in lieu of having an ice cream. They're easy to digest. They can help you with your blood sugar, which is an issue that I have. I need to keep my blood sugar even, because if it dips, that's when I get fatigued. And sometimes you can sneak in some of the fruits and vegetables that you might know are good for you, but you don't really necessarily want to eat them as a side dish. And I know, we have goals to want to really eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, but it might not seem like you could, fit that into your day if you're not a big fruit and veggie person. And one of the differences about the smoothies and the juices that you're asking about is a smoothie is going to allow you to have more fiber, where the juicers, and I love to juice too, I've got a juicer right there in the corner, but the juicers take out the fiber. So that's one of the additional benefits of smoothies over juices, but I do love juices too. I've got a lot of great juicer recipes. So the basics on the smoothies is that they give you energy. They can actually help you sleep better too, and to help you with, maintaining a healthy weight if that's one of your concerns. All right. So we already talked about, how smoothies kind of help to they're kind of almost like pre-digested in a way, that your body spends 80% of its energy actually in digesting your food. One of the first books that I read on nutrition was about 30 something years ago. And it mentioned how sometimes when we have a salad with our dinner, if we eat our salad first, our body spends so much time trying to digest that salad that then when we eat the meat, if you eat meat, it doesn't have a chance or the energy left to properly digest the meat. And that made me kind of think a little bit differently about how I eat my food. And then as far as having a smooth smoothie, sometimes that does depend on the type of blender that you have. So I have Breville. It basically does is it kind of pulses, and then it will do like a big, and then it'll do kind of like blend, and then the pulse. So you could change how you use your blender. Like you could put it on blend for a little bit and then pulse it a couple of times, so it kind of sends everything up and then it comes back down. That's what my Breville does. The NutriBullets are really popular. Some of the more economical blenders sometimes don't make your smoothie as smooth. Sometimes even with this one, which I love, depending on what I'm making into a smoothie, I might run it a couple of times, even though maybe it looks pretty smooth. I might do it a little more and it'll come out just a little bit smoother. My family actually loves, this one is by Oster, and you put everything in it, and then it has the blender blade, and you put that on the, and you put it upside down and out of it. So it helps with cleanup a little bit because you're not using an extra cup. But I like to make a big one, so I don't like to be limited by the size there. But that's really popular with the other folks in my family, and it does a pretty good job, and it is pretty inexpensive. But sometimes, again, your blender can make a difference. 5 smoothie parts that you want to have in your smoothie to make it the most beneficial for you. So again, I said, because we're kind of trying to avoid potential reactions, I've got dairy-free liquid. Making coconut milk has been great. I'm going to choose a green, which sometimes that's the most difficult part for people. Sometimes is the green and even the color. I find that spinach tends to be the lightest taste. Kale can take a little getting used to. So sometimes what I do is I'll combine kale and spinach, or even you can find blends of baby spinach and baby kale, and baby kale blends up a lot better than adult kale. And then you can choose your fruit. Actually, I love berries because they have a lot of antioxidants in them. And then the reason why you're choosing a fat or a protein is to help it kind of stick with you a little bit more. And so you want to choose a healthy fat. So avocado could be that. And like I was saying before we got started, my avocados are not ripe today. Everybody's eating up the bananas, and that's more of like a thickener. So other options that you have are milled flaxseed, chia. It can be really nice. It gives it a little texture if you like that. If you don't have any nut allergies, of course, your nut butters. Too, I will often, sometimes I'll get the really big bags of spinach and baby kale, and if I'm not doing a really good job making a lot of smoothies, or I got too much, I know it's going to start to go bad, and freezing it can be great for that too. Also, your bananas, I like to slice them up because then they blend a little bit better. And other things that you can freeze that make good for kind of thickening your smoothie, making it a little smoother, that don't blend so well when they're raw, is zucchini and also cauliflower. So if you freeze those, that kind of changes their texture a little bit. Right. And you don't taste the vegetable taste of them as much, but you can get in some of your zucchini and your cauliflower. And then you want to add a superfood, as they call them. People like coconut goji berries, or again, your chia or your flax could also be part of your superfood. I also get a superfoods in a can. It's powdered, but again, this could be nice if I've ran out of my my greens, which happens. Freezing them is great because then you are less likely to run out. And if you do like avocado, you can also freeze avocado. So you can just cut it in half. Most recipes are half an avocado. So you could cut them in half, and it takes the nut and the skin off, of course, and freeze up your avocados too. Now people are maybe a little more concerned and thinking about their immunity, and so smoothies can help with that by increasing your fruits and your vegetables, and just getting your nutrients from all of your food sources. And sometimes you do have to, these days especially, get a little bit creative with your recipes, depending on what you have. So hopefully, you try doing some smoothies and get a little bit more of your nutrient absorption. That's the other thing, when they're processed in the blender, you do absorb the nutrients a little bit better too. Again, as part of that being easier on your digestion. And, again, I'm going to send you these slides so you can look through them, see some of the things that you can add that can give your smoothie a little more of a boost. So coconut oil could be another nice one if you don't like the taste of flaxseed. And then, each of us is different, so we might find that our bodies need different things to, feel good, but also to, we might want to kind of cool ourselves or warm ourselves a little bit more depending on the season, or also depending on your personality. So sometimes if you're feeling like you tend to be a little more prone to fatigue or having low energy, then you might want to add something that kind of picks you up a little bit, like cinnamon or even cayenne. I love ginger, to take some fresh ginger and grate that. You take like about an inch, an inch all the way around, peel the skin off, which you can do with the side of a spoon, and then grate it up with a cheese grater. I like to do that, but you could also use dried ginger. And then if you're looking to kind of cool yourself down a little, if you tend to be kind of a fiery person and you might want to either cool down physically or mentally, adding things like mint or cardamom and cilantro can be nice ways to kind of cool down. Or like Judy was saying, you could even put a little ice in your smoothie. Sometimes too cold of a smoothie can be a little bit harder to digest, so just keeping that in mind as well. Yeah, so again, smoothies can help with a lot of things. These are some of the things that have been said to be helped with smoothies. Again, food allergies is only going to help if you kind of avoid the things that are typical food allergies. But if you know that they're not things that bother you, again, a lot of people love to add the nut butters, or you might prefer to use milk, or even some people like to thicken up their smoothie a little bit with yogurt. So again, that's going to be a dairy product, but some people can deal with the yogurt better than they could with like a milk. So here's a little recipe for you if you wanted to try. You could try now if you have the things, or I'll send this to you so that you can try that later as well. So usually you're just looking at maybe a cup or a cup and a half of some type of dairy-free milk, and then a couple of tablespoons of something like your chia or your flaxseed or your hemp seeds. And then the banana and the avocado are meant to kind of thicken it, make it a little bit more creamy, but the avocado is also there to give you a little bit of that fat content. It's a healthy fat. So sometimes when our bodies are getting the healthy fats, they don't crave the other types of fats as much because they've been satisfied with that healthy fat, because we do need healthy fat. And then a cup of spinach. If you don't feel like measuring, I usually find that a handful ends up being, about a cup. So again, this one is a cup of spinach. It's a nice smoothie to start with if you're not used to putting the greens in there, because it is a little bit smoother. It's a little less fibrous, and the taste is a little more mellow. One of the things I do sometimes, if it's a really bright, beautiful green, I did this the other day. I knew that my smoothie was color, and so I made another one. And what I did was I halved the liquid and I halved the ingredients. So I did the greens with half the liquid, and then I put that on the bottom of the cup. And then I did the berries and I put that on the top of the cup. Yep. And it was very beautiful. Kind of swirled it up a little bit, and so it made it a little more fun to drink instead of being, it was kind of would have been this greenish brownish color after. So this smoothie would be very, very green. Got kale and spinach here, and that's just about a cup. So it's not too much, right? And so with our recipe, again, my family has. We're down on the wire. I really like the coconut milk, so I'm actually mixing the coconut milk with the soy milk. I'm just doing like about a cup. And I won't make you listen to my blender once I get it going. And I like the chia. It gives like little pops. But you could do the flaxseed or the hemp parts if you haven't done those before. This recipe has the hemp parts, which again, you might not have that in your pantry right now, but you can get that. A bit of cinnamon in there. You could put, again, any of the spices that you like. Today's a little bit cool, so I do like this recipe with the cinnamon in there. And sometimes, again, that can help a little bit with the taste. And then I like to actually leave my, well, I just do a little bit of the chia and the flaxseed on the counter. And sometimes I find I look at it and it makes me want one. I've been craving the flax lately. And a lot of times, you know, your body is craving something because it needs it. And then you might find, you know, if the smoothies are a little bit newer to you, especially some of the green parts of the smoothie, you might like it a little bit sweeter to start. So in this recipe, it does have you can put a little bit of a non-sugar sweetener. If it's like a pure maple syrup, I'll use a little bit of maple syrup sometimes, or whatever non-sugar sweet. You know, this recipe is just a green smoothie. Again, oh yeah, I was going to add about a tablespoon of flax because I don't have any avocado today, and I want to have a little bit of that healthy fat in there, and that's going to go with my flax, my milk flax seeds too. All right, I'll wait on my smoothie to go, but that's about you know, half a minute. And it still definitely needs to blend up a little more, for sure. But this one is actually, even though it has a lot of the green in there, you can see it's a little bit more like a beige color. We're partly doing the smoothie workshop just to help you be healthier, but also to let you know, we have a spring detox program coming up that has, that one has 4 different smoothie recipes in it. And yeah, I'll share this recipe with you and another recipe with you as well. And then we also have a kicking sugar addiction program too. That is just like a little starter program. And that has some smoothie recipes in it too, because as it's kicking artificial sugar, you know, because the sugar that's in our fruits and things, we don't want to, you know, necessarily avoid. Chocolate recipes that are less sugar, right? I like chocolate. Chocolate's good for you. It's a monounsaturated fat. You know, good recipes that you're combining the chocolate with like your healthy fats and protein, and so yeah, you could feel a little bit better about having your chocolate. So I would take that off now just so I can see all of you a little bit better. Do you have any questions about smoothies? Did this make you think of some stuff maybe you hadn't thought about before, like maybe the 5 elements that you want to put into your smoothie, like about a tablespoon or 2? If you're just starting with it, you might want to just try a tablespoon. And if you drink your smoothie right away, you don't really notice the texture too much. You'll notice it a little bit. Yeah. If you let your smoothie sit a little, it'll get a little, they get like a little gummy around the edges, which some people like.